Good morning all, and thanks for having me along today. As Rachel said, my name's Gavin Scurr, and along with my brother Stephen, we own Pinata Farms. We're third generation pineapple growers down at Wamuran. However, in the last 60 odd years that the family's been there, that we've expanded a little. We currently farm in 7 locations across Australia, from Darwin to Hobart. And we grow 5 crops. So still grow pineapples, still large pineapple producers at Wamuran, also in Mareeba in North Queensland, and also at Humpty Doo, which is up near Darwin. That Humpty Doo farm, we also grow bananas and pineapples. The bananas are for local supply, so we supply all the bananas into the top end of Australia. So that's all of Darwin, Katherine, Gove, etc. We also grow mangoes in Katherine and Mataranka in the Northern Territory. Mareeba, we grow pineapples, where my brother is based. We grow strawberries and raspberries up in Stanthorpe over summer. And we also do the same in Tasmania, down at Sorell, raspberries and strawberries down there. And at Wamuran, we grow pineapples, raspberries and strawberries. So as a business, we harvest bananas, pineapples, strawberries and raspberries every day of the year. And that's made us a diversified business across those regions. That's why we've chose to grow in such different locations so that we can supply Australia with amazing eating fruit every day of the year. Mangoes, we start in the Northern Territory in Darwin in October, and our last ones will be in store next week out of Bundaberg through third-party growers here in Queensland. So as a business and as all horticulture growers, to be able to supply the retailers, we need to be food safety accredited. So Lena spoke about the Hort 360 program, which is a lot of the on-farm environmental side of things. However, to be able to supply Coles, Woolies, the IGAs of the world, we also need to be accredited from a food safety perspective, an ethical sourcing perspective to make sure that we're treating our workers fairly, and also from a workplace health and safety perspective. So they're annual audits. However, the retailers regularly do MRLs or maximum residue levels on our fruit at any time. And the only time they would inform us of that is when there's an issue, or if there was an issue. So I guess from a farmer's perspective, we're heavily regulated and we're heavily compliant, as in there's very few breaches across all of horticulture when it comes to the use of pesticides and chemicals due to that regime. We have some of the most stringent standards in the world, and as farmers we proudly abide by those and do the right thing. And as I said, as a farmer, the family's been at Wamuran for 60 years this year. 1961 my grandfather moved there, and we hope to be there for another 60. So we're in the business of being sustainable. Sam was going to talk to you about pineapples if Sam actually turns up. However, I'll cover the berry side of things from our business in relevance to the Palmerston catchment. As I said, we grow pineapples, strawberries and raspberries at Wamuran. Most of you know what strawberry farm looks like. You drive past them pretty much every day during winter. To be successful in growing strawberries, you need to have relatively level land, as if it's too steep. Not only is it a road and those sort of things, but it's too steep for people to pick on the trolleys, because they literally pull those along with their feet. So it needs to be just a little bit of a slope to get the water off, but not too steep, or it's too hard on their legs, and no one wants to work for you. So hence we have relatively flat land doing strawberries. They're grown on plastic, so it covers the bed. And the reason that is to keep the fruit from touching the soil, and that's why strawberries are actually called strawberries, is because back before plastic was invented, they used to put straw under them, because as soon as the fruit touches the soil, it'll go rotten. So there needs to be that physical barrier. The plastic also stops weeds, obviously, and conserves moisture. All the strawberries are trickle irrigated underneath the bed, with, depending on the size of the bed, but 2 or 3 trickle tapes per bed, and are watered and fed through that irrigation system, usually every day, or if it's really cool, every second day. As an industry, we're moving towards other practices. As a business ourselves, we're one of the first to trial growing in tunnels and in substrate, which is a coconut coir product. So it's a byproduct from the coconut industry out of Sri Lanka and India, those places where they have a large coconut industry, have this massive waste of coconut husk. What they do is they shred it and send it over to us in compressed dehydrated bales. We then rehydrate it, so effectively set sprinklers up over the top of it, puffs it back up to about 5 times its size, and then we plant the plant in it. So you'll see also that the tunnel itself protects it from weather. So what that does is that rain, well, berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, whenever it rains, they go soft and they just melt due to water damage. So hence, keeping the rain off them reduces our waste. So hence, we can grow more tonnes, or more punnets of marketable fruit per hectare. These photos here are a couple of years old now. As a business, we've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. Must stress the bulk of our production is still the way everyone else does it. We're still playing with this to try and make it work. The tunnels protect from the rain, but they also create a nice warm environment in there for the plants as well, because the sun radiates in there. So on the Sunshine Coast here, strawberry season is winter, where it enables us where weather is cool enough to grow a temperate crop. They typically grow in cooler climates than here, however, winter is okay. The warmer climate enables us to get more yield quicker out of the same production area. Uses about 30% less water per kilo of fruit. Around 30% less chemicals applied in there because, again, we've taken out the weather. So the rain is what causes fungal issues, so hence our fungicides are significantly reduced. However, it's also a beautiful warm environment for bugs. So mites, thrips, caterpillars, those sort of things, they love it in there. So hence that, while we've fixed one issue, it's caused another. You'll notice the ground is bare because there's no water in there, so hence it's a totally dry environment. The gutters themselves, if I can, yep, you can see that. So there's a metal gutter here, so same metal that would be on your roof gutter on your house. That's essentially what they are. They're just gutters that the bags sit in. Funnel all the water, all the runoff from the plant that anything the plant doesn't use runs into that gutter. It runs out to the end of the block and then goes back through a holding tank where we recycle that water back through our irrigation system. We check the nutrient level in the plant every day to see what's actually going on with that plant, so we can actually give it the right amount of moisture as well as the right amount of fertiliser and the type of fertiliser depending on the growth stage of that plant. So that's a daily occurrence. And on a warm day, so again, we're growing these through winter, so on a warm day in the mid-20s, we will water these about every 12 to 15 minutes for 2 minutes at a time. So hence, massively intensive because there's no reserve or no buffer in the coconut coir. Once the coconut, we get 2 seasons out of a bag, and then once that's done, we then pull those bags out, slice them open, tip the coconut coir out onto our strawberry fields where we grow conventional strawberries, and then chop that back in as organic matter. So that is a fully recyclable product that actually then builds up our other soil. It's about 80% less plastic per hectare as well, because of the only plastic is the bit of plastic that's holding around that bag. Quickly moving to raspberries. So raspberries are a relatively new crop in this region. Again, they're natively from cold climates. They're native of North America, where it snows every year. So hence, we've got varieties now that can handle a bit of heat and enable us to grow them through winter. And we're growing them the same way, in the same coconut coir. However, in pots, they're in an 8-litre pot to give the plant enough substance to be able to stand up. But again, we're drip feeding the moisture and the nutrient into them 20 or 30 times a day, depending on how warm it is. You'll notice on the next photo, the gutters again underneath here, collecting any runoff and running it out of the field. The issue with not having any moisture in here is it gets dusty. So now we've actually put subsurface drip irrigation there and growing turf or grass, not commercial turf, just grass in there, to actually create a bit of humidity as well as to stop the dust and make the plants better. So I see I've run out of time, but happy to take questions during the panel. Thanks.